Well, with the leaves on the trees and our signal is still weak, I've got to go to town to upload videos. But it's great because I get to see some of the most beautiful country. We're very fortunate where we live, and now that the leaves have turned colors, it is just spectacular. Now, fall has always been my favorite time of year because of the hunting and setting up camp and going to remote areas and calling in animals and the excitement of the hunt. There's just nothing like it. And I do most of my hunting now on YouTube, which I thank you guys for putting out and taking the time to video. It's very hard. I'm finding when I go out, see something and you don't have the camera ready, you're not going to get it on video. But it is a spectacular time of year, and I enjoy it so much. I miss it, but I don't really miss it. Because having a moose as a pet, you find out how smart they really are. And filling the freezer for a winter supply of meat was part of the agenda. And I love the fall because there was spectacular views, the weather, everything was just amazing. So now I'm going out and I'm videoing and taking pictures with a camera. Now I can set up camp and go someplace and call moose and put them on video. And that's what I'm going to be doing. Now, we went up to the mountains, and it's really, really neat to be able to go and see this country and to bring them to you on video so you can see what I see. And it's a lot less work than hunting, believe me. You just take the picture, come back and edit it, and you can see what I see. Having the camera with you, it makes a totally different thing because when you see them, you can take the picture and I can bring it to you and show you what I see and get up and close and personal to these animals, but not to shoot them, just to record them because they are magnificent. And having the skills of all the years that I hunted where I needed to feed my family, now all I can do is enjoy them. And I really do enjoy them because it is amazing. Now, we used to do a lot of adventures and did a lot of out hunting all over the country and to feed my family. And hunting was part of what I grew up with. I had to use hunting to feed my family, to protect my crops. My family didn't hunt. My dad wasn't a hunter. And so I had to learn from my cousins and different people on hunting, and I loved it because the excitement of the hunt, going out there, being able to, the comradeship of up these hunting camps, going all different places, and just it brings back such amazing memories because we went back to places where most people never see. And of course we harvested some beautiful animals. And the hunting trips back, when I look at these pictures, the memories, just spectacular times. And now I don't hunt anymore. I hunt with a camera. And you get to see these animals. And they live because we don't need the meat anymore. So taking the camera out and taking these pictures, now I sat up in my stand and I had fun. I called in moose. It was spectacular. And never called anything big because where we are, there isn't that big animals, but just watching the sunrise. And there's a moose right back there. But he didn't come out. He was probably a big guy. I don't know. He sounded pretty big. But I ended up getting some pictures of a smaller one. And in our area, this zone, they don't get very big because there's lots of pressure for the animals and that sort of thing. And a lot of people hunt them. But that's okay because I get to see the sunrise. I get to take my camera. I get to take you along with me. And we get to see a lot of animals. And they can live another day. I don't need them to feed my family. I don't have to protect my crops anymore because I don't farm. I'm retired. But just another sunrise, just to see it, be out there, and just have the excitement is plenty enough, good enough for me. Now, it's fun just to call them in and see and fool them because during the rut, they're really easy to fool if you call right. And they'll come right in, and it's interesting to watch their mannerisms. And when they come in and they say, "What? I thought I was expecting Mama Moose here." And they'll look and they get confused, but it's really neat to watch them. And I can take you with me with the camera. And you can see all the different animals that we see in this area, and you don't have to harvest them. I've often thought of hunt farms, you know, that high fence hunts. If they allowed you to hunt with the camera and you got close enough with that camera so that you could see that the animal was definitely harvested by you, and you'd pay your fee, and the next year when the antlers dropped off, you would be in possession of those antlers. And it would be a good way of preserving the animals instead of rather harvesting them, because most of these places you don't get the meat anyway. All you're after is the antlers. So if the antlers dropped off and you had a picture showing that animal, that you were close enough that you could have harvested them, you would get those antlers, and that animal would get to live for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, where different people would get them. Now this particular animal, beautiful little upcoming buck, was a victim of roadkill, which is really too bad because he was an up-and-coming animal. But when we go to town, and these videos are pretty graphic, but there is a pile of deer, roadkill deer. I don't have the numbers, but it's amazingly high. I'll just show you a quick video when we were going to town of seeing these. Now I still hunt coyotes and predators, we're allowed to. And back when I went to college, I fed myself with deer meat. A lot of these pictures now you'll see are just a compilation of hunting that I've done over the years while I tell you the story, because this particular story is about a young friend of mine. We were both going to college, and of course we didn't have much money, and we had to feed our family. And we went out hunting. Now it was a 2-deer zone, and so that means you could get 2 deer per person. Now I never mention names or anybody on this channel, or even show you pictures of different people that I don't have permission from, but this story is pretty spectacular because we were up deer hunting, and we went, of course, where we shouldn't have, and we were in an area with a lot of muskeg. Now I was driving my 51 Plymouth. That car was as old as me. I was born in 51 and that car was made in 51, and it took us a lot of places. And that's the car I used when I was in college. And we're driving this car in an area looking for deer, and we pulled on and the road kind of stopped, and we said, oh, that looks kind of cool. So we turned over and we ended up driving on a muskeg with this old car, 2-wheel drive, just the 2 of us in it. I think we had 1 deer already in the back seat. We used to just take the back seat out, lay some plastic down, and put our deer on the plastic. And again, these pictures are just to watch while I'm telling the story. So it felt kind of spongy, you know, and I looked over and I thought, oh, this is not good. And I looked in my rearview mirror and there was steam coming out of our tracks. I made a real slow corner because I knew I had to get out of there. And if I spun the tires, there's a good chance some of these bogs have no bottom to them. And it's just a big bog with the moss on top, and it barely freezes because the moss keeps the water from freezing. And so we made a slow turn, and I managed to follow. I didn't want to go on my same track, so I'm kind of going on the side. We're going through some willows, and I get off the swamp, and I'm just can't believe, because you can see the water coming up on our tracks, and we would have just went down. And so ended up pulling out, and another fella come by, and he said, oh man, he said, there's guys that tried to make a road through there, and their cats would disappear through the bog, and they'd never recover them. Now, a lot of these stories they're just stories, but we're very, very lucky. I'm lucky to be alive and see another sunrise, because if you listen to the stories, some of the things we did, you know, were just innocent things that all of a sudden you get yourself in a world of hurt. And I'm lucky enough, don't ask me why, I always say it's luck, L-U-C-K, living under correct knowledge. But that wasn't so smart going out on that swamp. But you didn't realize it until it happened. And just making the right decisions during the time saved our lives. Had I gunned it and that car started to sink, I don't know if we'd have made it out of there or not. And that's just one of the many stories that I had during the adventures we had. There were a lot of wonderful times, and A lot of wonderful friendships and trips of a lifetime that I can remember when I look through my photo album and just, wow, am I ever very lucky to be alive. Once in a blue moon, eh? Thanks for watching. Please donate to cancer. See you in the next video.